Hi everybody, Simon here from Barrier Life Inc. This evening we're here with Derek Day, all the way from Los Angeles. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Simon. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. And how are you this evening?
I'm very good. I'm very good. Just hanging in there. It's warm out here in LA.
Ah, you're lucky. You're lucky. We've got bad weather over here. We're getting everything over the Atlantic that you guys have already seen.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. So
Ah.
before we get started with the conversation, Derek, I've got to ask you, how many tricks can a guitar player put up his sleeve?
A lot, actually. A lot. Most of them are stolen tricks. But really, it's endless at this point. So yeah, I know we had like this crazy connection problem, and I was just trying. Yeah, we got now it's hotspot. It's not Wi-Fi. It's hotspot. So
At least we know. At least we know we're good. So, how have you been keeping through the epidemic? How's everything been going in LA?
good. Actually, well, I mean, it sounds weird to say good, but pretty. Actually, not too bad because even though I can't play shows or connect with audiences as much, it's been very opportunistic for me. Like writing so much new material and working with different writers of extremely great caliber and um, just finding new avenues for creativity. It's been
Right.
really
Yeah. So I guess it's opened up a different world by being at home for a change instead of being out all over the place. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. And it's nice to just kind of like uh, even though I long for performing, it's really actually nice to slow down because I think it was constantly performing beforehand. So
Yeah.
it's actually kind of cool. I hear this from all my other musician friends. They say like, "Oh yeah, we finally put that shelf up in the
Yeah.
kitchen." Like it's actually really cool to do that now. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I finally cleaned the garage." I like it's I could breathe now.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we've all been putting off lots of jobs, but over those months, I think we managed to tick quite a lot of boxes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Tick a lot of
So,
boxes. I love that. Yeah.
absolutely. So you said that you stayed busy with the music side of things. What else have you done through lockdown?
What else? Let's see. That's a good question. It's really, it sounds crazy, but it's really just been every day. I wake up and I write music. So there's really nothing else. So other than that, just trying to be out in nature as much as I can and reading. Like
Yeah.
I'm a reader and I never really was before. So constantly reading and uh, just uh, just kind of building that writing muscle really and recording a bit, making demos in my my laptop here.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's it. It's just been so music based.
I think you mentioned reading. It's something that I used to do a lot of, but I managed to reconnect a lot with that while I was at home for quite a period of time, and
Yeah.
and it's something that I've continued since then as well. So it definitely has changed my views on a lot of things.
Yeah, right. Don't you get like kind of tired of TV a little bit? I'm kind of like sick of television a bit. So it's cool to pick something up and like work for it.
Totally, and it's like detuning possibly as well from social media and like doing something different, like you're saying, connecting with nature as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So whereabouts are you actually in LA County? Whereabouts do you live?
Northeast LA. So it's kind of like um well, I'm more like specifically in a place like Highland Park, Eagle Rock. But I don't know if Silver Lake and Atwater. I don't know if any of that rings a bell, but kind of near
Right,
Glendale, Pasadena.
I got you.
So close to each other, so it's kind of like just there. But
I've
yeah,
got you. I stayed in Pasadena for a few days a number of years ago. I love Pasadena. It's a lovely area.
yeah, it's actually one of the more lovelier areas for sure. It's
Mhm.
a lot cleaner and nice.
It's a very chilled out sort of little sort of town or whatever you want to call it, for a better word.
Yeah, absolutely, very chill.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So you started out obviously at a pretty young age, and you were street performing in Santa Monica when you were about 13 years old.
Yeah, but
That
yeah.
must have been a total baptism of fire, was it?
Say again.
It must have been a total baptism of fire, was it? Sort of playing to the public down there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, like I definitely learned how to make people walk away from me and and as well as how to make them stay while they're trying to catch a movie just to
Yeah.
like stay and um but yeah, that was so important, I think, performing at a young age. I think for anyone, like, you just learn what's cool and what's not cool. Plus I played covers only, and that gave me a good songwriting sensibility. I think I learned what great songs were and how to perform them. It was like, yeah, this is like,
Yeah.
these songs are so good, you can't miss it when I don't like copy them. I just kind of like take from them. And
Yeah, because like I've watched some of those earlier videos as well, and it's like you're sort of doing a little bit of Stevie Ray Vaughan, a bit of Led Zeppelin, a bit of all sorts of like Pink Floyd and all that stuff.
yeah,
And it's great to see somebody's own take on it for a change, rather than somebody that just plays it note for note.
right.
Yeah.
That's so, yeah. Oh my God, thank you for noticing that. I actually
Oh,
get a
oh.
lot. I get a lot of flack
Mhm.
for changing it a bit. People are telling me like, stop doing that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, come on, like they're already making tons of money off of their own recording. Like, let me make money off of this recording kind of
Totally.
thing.
Well, I don't see it as being disrespectful. I actually think it's kind of it's nice to nod, to nod to the things that have meant a lot to you over the years, but you've got to reinvent them and do something different with them as well.
Oh, you're badass. Thank you, Simon. That's how you do it. I love that.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like watching your style as well, you're very animated in your performance. So I actually totally love that as as a fan, if you like. But who inspired you initially to sort of adopt that sort of style?
Great question. Uh, that is a great question because there are a lot of performers that are very captivating, yet they're not so manic. Like
Right.
Bowie was one. He's so captivating, but he's not
Yeah.
all over the place. But as far as like craziness, man, that's crazy. I don't know. Like I've heard I was a lot like Angus Young whenever I'm on stage, which is really
Right.
flattering. And I suppose just like good rock and roll bands and good like Angus and like Stevie Ray Vaughan, actually, even though he didn't run around too much, he was very just those guys that like really made a footprint on the stage.
I guess
Like,
like the likes of Stevie, he was animated enough in one position, wasn't he, without having to worry about going anywhere else. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And from someone like Bowie, I learned that you could really like you could look someone in the eye from the stage,
Yeah.
and that was just something really important. I think it was like direct communication, and that's something I love to do. I love to look everyone in the eye when I perform. So
Yeah, absolutely. No, that came across in some of those earlier performances as well, and it kind of it reminded me a lot of Steve Vai from back in the day, and
oh
and
yeah,
obviously we've got a mutual love of Vai as well. So,
absolutely.
how did that relationship come about?
He saw my manager Ollie is pretty good friends with him.
Yeah,
They don't work together or anything, but they just kind of were friends from back in the day. And my manager sent him a video of me on the promenade. I was playing Pride and Joy by Stevie
yeah,
Ray. And he's like, "This is great." Like, he was on his tour. He was already in midway of the Passion and Warfare 25th anniversary tour. And he's
yeah,
like, "Yeah, you know what? Tell him to come out here and just like finish the tour with me." Because he thought it was cool. And then I didn't have a band or anything, so we just threw a band together and like in 2 days and just ran up there. And it was the biggest show I ever played, like shows I've ever played, like way more than anyone. I've always just played on the street, so um, he's just that kind of guy he sees a kid working hard and he's like, all right, come out here. I think I was like 20 years
yeah,
old, and just, he gave me a chance. And ever since then, it's just been really cool. Like, I've been meeting so many more great musicians and got more gigs from that tour, and he
yeah.
just appreciated the work.
Is an amazing character, isn't he? As well as a musician, I've met him several times, and he's so humble with all of that talent as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. Yeah, he is. He really is. Like, he's not even like a genius. He's like a spiritual being of
Yes,
he's like
yeah,
out of this world. So like of course he's a genius, but I'm saying beyond that. And yeah, like you're right, he's just so nice and so cool. And what I actually really like, he's from Long Island, so he
Yeah.
gives it to you straight. He'll tell you like, don't do that, or do. I remember one of the shows, he was like, at the end of the last note, I came in, I was like, oh man, I think I might have been out of tune. And he's like, yeah, you were a quarter semitone off on that. And he just like, how do you even hear that? It was like he was backstage too, and he heard it. Yeah, you were one quarter semitone off. So he gives it to you straight, but he's
Yeah.
still super nice and super humble and like. And I always describe Steve. I hope he doesn't get mad that I talk to him. I talk about him this way, but he doesn't. The way he's like he's a tall guy,
Yeah.
but the way he takes steps, at least after shows, is like it's very like it's really heavy, and like when he walks, it's like big, heavy. He walks with his knees because it feels like he's like a big dude. Like I don't know what it is. Like he walks like as if he's floating on each step. Like he doesn't hit the ground necessarily, like right above the ground, and like, and then as soon as you turn around, he's gone. So he really is like this weird, obscure figure of my imagination.
Oh, amazing! It's great, is that? I mean, did your relationship with Philip Bino come from touring with the band on the Passion and Warfare tour then?
Actually, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, he was like, Bino is so cool. Bino was like, hey, what's up, Rockstar? And I'm like, I don't know how to. But I've recorded on a few tracks with them. He plays on the song "Face Me." He's on like bass there, and you could hear him killing it.
Right.
Yeah, that's totally just from actually. I think even before that tour, me and Bino jumped on stage at Lucky Strike in Hollywood, and it was just a jam night. It was an open jam night on a Wednesday, and it was just like this cool. Like we played like I think another Stevie Ray Vaughan song. Him, Brendan Buckley from Shakira, drummer,
Right.
and we just kind of like we sort of hit it off there. And then just shortly after I jumped on that tour, so it was just yeah.
Amazing. So you obviously played on your Social Kitten CD as well, didn't you? So you've got recordings together now.
Oh yeah. Well, I wish Bino played on. He only played on Face Me.
Yeah.
But on that CD, I got all sorts of musicians all over the place, just like different guys from LA and
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That's about it.
So you toured as well with Ted Nugent. He's another one of my heroes from back in the day.
Yeah. Oh man.
Big Ted like to work with.
Man, it's so cool. He was also like someone. Vi and Ted were people I would study as a 9-year-old. I was just like watching them, and yeah, Ted is like super cool, super nice. But like he's 100% himself, and like when I met him, he almost broke my hand just by shaking it. Just like he's really hard handshake and really accepting. His whole crew is like amazing. They're really like his sound crew, which is a big crew, was my sound crew, and they never do that. Like that's super unheard of. But they only did it because they were like treating us like family, and so they're really family-based people. Ted like brings his family along on tour. And he likes to go hunting in the middle of tour. And my favorite thing about Ted is on stage every night. I would watch a show every single night, but he would always reach out for something new, guitar-wise or improvisational-wise. So I think he's 69 this year. And just every single show is so important. And he even says that live, too. He's like, this is the most important show of my life right now. And he says it live. Make sure everyone in the audience knows, like, you have no idea how important this night is. And he just goes for it. And he always does new things musically, which blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, like I first sort of listened to him when he put out Double Live Gonzo. So really that was my staple when I started listening to Nugent. And like literally if you listen to that double album, it's got every classic that ever came about. So I only ever got to see him once play live, but it just floored me. He was so good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's such a badass, man. He's such a presence. You know what? Ted Nugent is a huge influence as far as stage presence.
Yeah.
Like he runs around too, and he's like super, he's just so present. And so I love it.
Absolutely. Maybe just doesn't do the loincloth and the tail anymore, but that's about it, isn't it?
Not these days. No, I don't think so. Yeah.
So, as well as your own project, you're involved with Classless Act as well.
Yeah. Classless Act.
How's all of that going at the moment?
It's going great. We're a very straight ahead rock and roll band. Not so. I would say my music is a little more experimental, maybe with structure, but Classless Act is like really hard hitting rock and roll group, kind of like Guns N' Roses reminiscent, and but we're just in heavy development. So there's no I'm not sure when the next thing will be released or anything, or our first thing will be released, but we've just been writing with all sorts of writers, recording demos, seeing what works, what doesn't work, scrapping, constantly working, and but it's been going great. It's been such a growing experience for me.
And obviously you're working with Slash's son in that band as well, so that obviously opens up different sort of avenues of work for you as well.
Absolutely. Well, Slash was so kind to have us open up for him at the Palladium. Yeah. It was such an experience, and but yeah, so that really that was cool.
Mm-hmm. So looking at some of your other material, I particularly enjoyed your Jam in the Van shows.
Nice.
From the NAMM thing, especially the one back at, I think, was it in February this year?
January, yeah.
January, yeah. How did that come about? Was that because of some of your endorsements with like Fender and the like?
Yes, I think so. That's very observant, because I was actually wondering too, like, how on earth did we get this? This was so weird. Like, but I'm working with Other World Computing, OWC. They just make really great hard drives, really good USB ports, and all sorts of things, and for your computer and home studio. So I work with them just loosely, and I promote them, and they give me stuff when I do live streams. They give me stuff to give away and all sorts of things. And so they work with Jam in the Van. I think they kind of threw in my name there. I have to thank Randy Fuchs. He's a very good. He's works for Artist Relations. He does like an endorsement expo every year before NAMM. He's such a great. He just brings people together. He brings artists and venues together, artists and studios together. And I think he was the one who put it together. He doesn't take credit for it because he's such a lovely guy, but I think. And then I think having a Fender endorsement helped as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's obviously been really successful for them as well, because there's so much of it out there on YouTube now. So there's a lot of artists to discover as well. Yeah,
people love that, huh? They love hearing, like, finding me. Like, I always see on the comments, like, oh, thanks for showing me this dude, this person from I never would have found him before.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like, I've been literally a music lover for the whole of my life, and sort of it was only a few months ago that I discovered yourself, but it was through a photo shoot that you did with a friend of mine from Newcastle, Adam Kennedy.
Adam, I love Adam. He's so cool.
He's an absolute dude, but like when you see somebody's name pop up, and also I looked at the photo shoot, it was like, right, I need to check out this artist, and obviously here we are talking today. So it's a much smaller world in a lot of senses, isn't it?
It's so crazy. I mean, you guys are on the other side of the world, and
it is. It's mad.
It's mad. It's maddening, and like we're best friends now. You and I, Simon, we're best of friends.
That's good to know. Nice one. I was only in touch with Adam today, and he said to say hello, by the way. So there you go.
Oh man, I gotta say hi to him. I've been holding his pictures a little hostage because I'm very particular on what I post, and like I love what we did, so I'm like I want to put this out right at the right time, and so I feel bad. I'm like, Adam, please know it's coming from a great place. Like I'm just trying to like put it right now. Like it's gonna be perfect. Trust me.
Excellent. So you've got a new release out, which has just been out a matter of weeks now, which is Click on Me.
Mm-hmm.
It was conceived back in 2018 though by yourself and Vernon Reid from Living Colour. How did that actually happen? What were you sort of friends with Vernon at the time, and then you decided to work together, or what happened?
Kinda. We I was so fortunate to through my manager again, such a great guy, Ollie, made it happen to where right after the Ted Nugent tour, I went straight on the Living Colour tour. They had just released an album, Shade in the US, and it's seriously like my favorite album by them. It's like mind-blowingly modern and really cool. And so true to the times. And so I was like, so I got my trio ready, and we went out on for that tour, and we kind of made kinship with them, and we were good friends, and Vernon was just like invited me out to Staten Island, where where he stays, and we just for a week, we just wrote songs for a week from like 7 to like 4 or something, like long hours and writing music, and that was one of the many ideas that really just kind of stuck. It was, yeah, like you said, conceived in 2018, and yeah, and then I think just the following, I think actually, yeah, the following year he made us play it a lot throughout and then he came out the next year to record it. I think he was just like, all right, now I'll do it, and then it was so cool. He was just really cool about it.
So I mean, there's a lot of different elements to that song as well. There's so much in the way of influences coming into it. Who sort of had a handle on what? Because there are like Queen elements there. There's a little bit of My Chemical Romance. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Who had what influence there in terms of the sound?
That's so cool. I love those. Wow, I would never even think of that. But I love both of those bands already, and music, like I came with the riff. I had the riff, the main one, and like the verses kind of all outlined. But he was really instrumental in like giving it a really good, just like giving it good shape. And he was very instrumental in the concept of the song. When I first went over his place, he's like, I really want to talk about like what the internet is doing. I know a lot of people kind of talk about it, but no one's really saying what it's doing. And like, it's a great thing. Obviously, like right now we're communicating half a world away, but it's so great, but it's also, there's so many negative effects, and we wanted to touch on that.
In a lot of ways, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. There's so much. It's just crazy, and like, so he brought that concept in, and I was all about it. And him and I would just nerd out, geek out over like space. Like we both love Star Wars, and just like we loved so the song was kind of like taking shape into like, let's try to sound a little kind of like futuristic, kind of like space, just a little bit, with the tones and stuff. And that was just kind of like this very, I wouldn't say anyone took a lead in the sound, but because we just both were like just in it already. We're just like, yeah, let's just run with it. And so I don't know if that answers anything.
I kind of know what you mean, but it's like you're saying about social media, it's like a lot of the words in there are even more relevant now, even though it was probably hatched 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about want to go viral like a virus. I mean, it's like how much more relevant could it be just at this point in time?
God, that's so weird. Yeah, that was really, that's weird.
Totally, it's absolutely in my brain at the moment, so it's just spinning around all the while. Is that song in particular? Yeah, it's lovely. An earworm, isn't it?
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks, Simon. Yeah, in the video there's like a little coronavirus image there too, and that's Jeremy Ian Thomas, an amazing animation artist, and he really went above and beyond. And I didn't even notice the coronavirus thing or like the little, the BLM stuff, like I had to kind of like peek in a bit more, like, oh wow. And I think it's like he has a lot to do with provoking that stuff as well.
There is certainly a lot of stuff going on, isn't there? So it's well worth checking out. But I absolutely love it. I love it to bits. The video, it's fantastic.
Oh, lovely, awesome.
So another one that I absolutely love is There Is No Me, which I think is a fantastic tune. That's probably, apart from the songs that we saw in Santa Monica, the stuff on YouTube, that one in particular really, really struck home with me. I thought it was just, it's kind of a fresh take on the blues.
Ooh, cool.
I mean, I don't know if that was kind of the plan to sort of challenge that particular genre, but for me, it certainly does that. And obviously, with your own sort of style and how animated you are, it gives it a fresh twist as well.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it definitely was a bit of like, let's see what we can do with blues and how to make it sound a little bit more different. It's in a reminiscent of like kind of Hendrix in the sense where it's 6/8 time signature. Right. So it has a bit of a waltz, and And I wrote that. I actually wrote it with Greg Hampton. Greg Hampton's an amazing producer here in Los Angeles. He's produced Alice Cooper and stuff, and he's just Tommy Bolin and stuff. And he's just like, he's an amazing songwriter, I think, first and foremost. So like him and I were just kind of spitballing ideas and stuff. He had the lyric, he had the line, "There is no me without you." Right. And then we just kind of threw it all together from then on, and yeah, it'd be great to record that. We have a recording of it, but maybe it needs some tweaking, and yeah.
So what's the plan sort of going forward? Is there an album in the sort of mix at the moment?
There wasn't really, at first there really wasn't any plan with it. I just wanted to drop singles because we live in such a single world. Yeah. And, but, and especially with the pandemic, it's like you can't really make plans nowadays. But I think I have like 3 or 4 songs recorded and stashed away just from the last year. And I'm thinking like beginning of the year, we're just going to drop an EP, like a 5-song EP with all originals.
Yeah, absolutely. Because obviously Social Kitten's already out there, isn't it? So it would be good to get some extra product out for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just more for people to judge and listen to.
I mean, you were talking about live streams and stuff just before. Have you got any plans to do much more of that while we're still in the current predicament?
Yes, actually. Well, when this happened, I was doing once a week. Live stream, and it was going really well. I would get donations and I would give some of that to charity or all of it, and I would do live streams with friends, or I had to slow down on it because there is a bit of a lack of true connection happening, and it was kind of deterring me from art. But now I'm kind of longing for it again, and I do want to connect with my audience. So actually, very, very soon, you'll be seeing a live stream. I have no date for it, but definitely like sometime in November would be like a dope little, I'll promote it and everything all over my sites. Like, tune in for this, you'll hear all the music.
It is kind of strange, like you're saying there, that it's just kind of that lack of connection. It's very difficult at the moment to try and balance things up.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Must be the same for you guys as artists as well as us as sort of like a casual viewer, if you like, as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm sure. Have you seen some live streams and stuff? Like,
been watching quite a lot, to be honest with you. Yeah, because it seems to be the only way that people can sort of connect, like you were saying before. They seem to be going much better on platforms like Facebook, though, where you can actually have a little bit of a conversation while it's all happening as well.
Yeah. How do you like it? Do you feel like it's kind of cool? Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, some of it, but not all of it. I think it's kind of, like there's been a few live streams I think have been really entertaining. The likes of Devon Townsend did some fantastic ones. A guy from Ireland called Pat McManus that we used to follow in a band called Mama's Boys. He's done some great live ones as well, and a number of other artists. Toby Jepson from a band called Little Angels. Toby's done some great ones. So there have been some really enjoyable live streams, but also it's just, we're just missing that live situation at the moment. And it's something, when we go to so many gigs so often, it really has sort of changed our lives so much, hasn't it?
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. Something about like even unspoken, like just eye contact with a real person is really like, I miss that so much.
For sure. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time today, Derek. I know it's been a little bit of a hassle to try and get us connected, but it's all worked out in the end. Really, really good to talk to you. It's been really enjoyable. If we get the opportunity again before we come out of lockdown, or certainly if you're going to make your way over to the UK again, it would be great to catch up in person next time around, and hopefully that can happen.
Oh, absolutely. I was just, I was telling someone else, just the second we're allowed to like travel safely and perform, I think my first stop, I'm going to skip America and go straight to Europe. And like,
Sounds good.
So you'll be, you'll see me as soon as this is over, pretty much.
Excellent. I will look forward to that. But thank you very much in the meantime. Hope everything goes well, and keep in touch.
Absolutely, Simon. Thank you so much. Thank
Thanks
you.
Very much. Mate, you take care. All the best.
Bye. See you, brother.
Thank you. Bye.